we have to kind of begin by speaking about the India-Pakistan situation from your eyes as of now. You've covered it right from the start. Your interview with Khwaja Asif, the Pakistan defense minister, went viral all over India, honestly. It's become a massive part of conversations here. So I would love to hear about the whole experience from your perspective. And I'd love for you to highlight the Khwaja Asif interview as well.
So Ranveer, as things were simmering, I mean, if I go back to Pelgam, the attack in Kashmir, I really feel as though newsrooms around the world, certainly in the Western world, don't quite understand why Kashmir is a flashpoint, why it is one of the most militarized zones on the planet. So when the attack happened, it was sort of a story that appeared and broke on my show. So I do a 9 o'clock in the UK evening foreign affairs show. It broke, and our India correspondent quickly put something together to highlight that it had happened. And it sat somewhere within the bulletin. And immediately when I saw it, I was like, wait a second, this is a major terrorist attack. And, 26 people have died, tourists, innocent civilians. So we should be exploring this a little bit more. And again, because our focus and attention always is on, what President Trump is doing and what is going on politically in our part of the world, it was kind of dipping in and out of conversation in our newsrooms, but wasn't dominating any kind of conversation. And the newsrooms, like all newsrooms, moved on quite quickly. But because I understand the intricacies, because I've followed the issues around terrorism in India, terrorism in Pakistan, as I said, for 15 plus years of my career, I was really keen to continue to highlight it. So 3 days after the Pelgam attack, one of my producers said to me, "Oh, we might have the defense minister of Pakistan. Would you be interested in speaking to him?" And I said, "Absolutely. Let's get him on. Let's talk to him." And, India was really ratcheting up the rhetoric. India was angry. India had promised to retaliate. India immediately pointed the finger of blame on Pakistan. And a lot of people couldn't understand why. Why is the state of Pakistan being blamed for a terrorist attack that terrorists launched in Indian-administered Kashmir? They couldn't join the dots. So when initially the defense minister cancelled the interview because they said they were holding a National Security Council meeting and the top cabinet ministers in Pakistan were meeting to discuss how India was reacting to the terrorist attack. So they cancelled it. The next day, they said, actually, we'll do it tonight. And again, I sort of thought, this is brave. This is interesting. Why is Pakistan wanting to come out and talk about this? Because I understood what was going on. And I guess for the longest time, Pakistani officials feel that accusations, if a journalist is somewhat aware about the terrorism connection between the ISI and these terrorist groups, they might raise it. And then Pakistan denies, and then everyone moves on. So I prepared myself. I was really thinking about the interview, which angles can I come into? And I 100% did not think that Khwaja Asif was going to admit to me on air as the current serving defense minister of Pakistan that the state of Pakistan has used terrorism as part of their policy, as part of their statecraft. Of course, there is murkiness everywhere. All states use proxies on some level, but officials always come out and they deny that they're doing it. They say that these are groups that have issues with governments. They launch these attacks. It has nothing to do with us. So when I sat across, or we patched up with Khwaja Asif, and I began asking the questions, and I said to him, India's pointing the finger of blame, and he said, I don't know why they're blaming us. This is India's problem. We condemn this terrorist attack, but it's got nothing to do with us. And I thought, I'm going to obviously ask the question that you do admit, though, that you have had a history, Pakistan has had a history of state sponsoring of terrorism to this day. Anyone who is following Pakistan, anyone who is following the history of Pakistan understands this. And in the past, Pakistani officials have when they have stepped down from their posts, they have admitted this. Whether it is the former ISI chief, General Durrani, whether it's Pervez Musharraf, whether it's Benazir Bhutto, when they step down, yeah, they talk about it. Yeah, we used it. It's part of our statecraft. I did not think the serving defense minister of Pakistan would say, yes, this is what we do. This is what we have. This is why we use it. And it's not just us. We're doing the dirty work of you, the West.
What did you make of it the moment he said that? Like, what was your first thought as a journalist who's been around for a while? You understand how the world of geopolitics works. So I'd love to know about your mind in that situation.
I realized immediately that it was extraordinary. And I thought maybe he didn't quite process what I was saying. Maybe I misunderstood him. So I wanted clarity. And I pushed him again. Initially, I mean, a lot of people have sort of replayed the interview and captured my initial reaction in that moment, because I did jolt. I sort of couldn't believe what I was hearing, that he was saying, well, we did the dirty work of the West, and yes, we have these proxies and they exist and this is how it is. So I did jolt, and I said, well, is that your justification? Is this, you're justifying now that Pakistan has this connection with terrorist groups because we're going back to the Mujahideen, the CIA, and the dirty work of then. So it's now just part of what Pakistan does. And he said, no, this is the reason why you're saying this to me. And he again, for the interview went for about 18 minutes. And he didn't back down at any point. He made it clear to me that he understood what I was saying. He was going to say what he was going to say. And that is that Pakistan has had the longest history. And what has been the underbelly and the so-called deep state of Pakistan and how they operate.